Hello, I'm Bert Oliver, and welcome to this issue of the Bowie News and Views. So, John, if you'll start us with something, news or views, or introduce our guest.
Well, thank you, Bert. You flubbed that, didn't you? Bowie News and Views. You pulled out of it. That was all right. It's our pleasure to have with us today Ken Sain, who people in Bowie will know as the assistant managing editor of the Bowie Star. People elsewhere will know him as assistant managing editor of assorted gazettes. We're unique in having a Bowie Star.
Right.
Introduce yourself and tell us what you do. And
I am Ken Sain. I am the assistant managing editor for the Gazette newspapers. I am in charge of the Bowie Star, the Landover and Lanham and Largo and New Carrollton Gazettes, and also the coordinator for all the A&E coverage for Prince George's County. So technically I cover everything from Accokeek all the way to Laurel and Bowie to Hyattsville.
Well, it gets you around.
Yeah.
Good. What is the emphasis? What is your emphasis on Bowie coverage? Do you have more than one reporter covering Bowie?
We have one reporter that works just strictly with Bowie, and that's Virginia Terhune.
Right.
She's got a lot of experience, and so far the input, and she's been here since I think April, has been very good from the community. So we're very happy with her.
Oh, I think she's good.
Yeah. We also have 3 county reporters that are, cover the county, but are available. A crimes reporter, a courts reporter. It's Andrea Noble. Daniel Valentine covers politics and county
government. Well, Andrea
government.
used to cover Bowie.
She did, and so did Daniel.
Oh,
so,
did he? I don't remember that.
Yeah, Daniel Valentine was a Bowie reporter at one point. And then we have an education reporter, which was currently vacant and we are trying to fill. So those are the 3 county reporters. And then I also have 2 reporters that cover Landover and Largo, and that's Liz Kowski and Natalie McGill, and they both do a terrific job too. And since we have a little crossover in the Largo with Mitchellville and Glendale with Bowie, sometimes Liz will also show up in the Bowie.
Oh, okay. I have to tell you, and I value your comment on this, but one complaint in Bowie about the Bowie Star is that, first 6 pages, 5 pages, Bowie, and then it's the rest of the county.
Well, we try to cover it as comprehensively as we can. There is replates there, and we know that. But, even when we weren't replating, because the replates are pretty recent, we still had to use some of the county stories.
County stories. Yeah.
But Jenny's one person, and as much as I would love to have her write 20 stories a week, I don't get that luxury, and I think Jenny would
push her.
Well, easy to say, but I think, Jenny's already like looking at me every once in a while going, leave me alone. But, we work her pretty hard, and she does an awful lot for us, and I'm trying to make sure she stays happy, so she continues to do so.
Oh, well.
Where are you located, Ken?
I live in Baltimore. I bought a house there about 4 years ago, and I just gave me the Bowie beat probably last January.
You're not in Canton, are you?
No, not in Canton. It's a little too upscale from me. I'm in Southwest Baltimore, near the St. Agnes Hospital.
Yeah, we own a. Yeah, I do. We own a house in Canton, which we bought when it was really.
Yeah,
cheap.
That'd be a nice place to live now.
Oh, it's nice. I love it there. Yeah. Absolutely. But not as much as Bowie, of course.
Well, of course.
Of course.
But it's a great change over there. You can give Governor Schaefer a lot of credit for that in Baltimore. A lot of the improvements, neighborhood changes, and so forth. It goes back a ways, John, but you might remember.
I remember him very well, thank you.
But I really believe that waterfront is, he took the lead there and improving that a long time back in the community. And I've been there often enough over the years. In some areas you didn't park your car and walk blocks to the water.
Right.
But that's, I hope,
we can see the water right from our...
That's great. Yeah. Ken, the one question I have really, and you're in such a competitive business as John has reminded me, and it's not only competitive, and it seems like those organizations that do like you have, covering a lot of communities, seem to be offering the community something more than just a single area. But what do you think about, and you're owned by the Washington Post, I imagine. Isn't that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when you started, or they started, things were looking not so great in the print newspaper business, and yet they invested. Do you feel like they make a good investment in Gazette, Star?
You think he's going to say no?
Well, I mean,
no,
I'll back
yeah.
it up with facts, as a good journalist would.
Yeah.
They've built the new building in Laurel, which is our headquarters, and that cost them over $20 million.
Wow.
The press is probably the best press this side of the Mississippi for the,
Yeah.
at least half the country, maybe the entire country. That was a $25 million investment right there. We just bought recently, and we're waiting to implement a new content management system, which is, I don't know exactly how much, but a couple more $1 million. So yeah, they're investing heavily in what we're doing, because in our company, even though it's the Post company, we have probably the highest profit margins, because you can go online and you can find out whatever you want to find out that's going on in India.
Sure.
But if you want to know what's happening in Bowie, you pretty much have to come to the Bowie Star or some of our competition now, but it's not as easy to find. So the hyper-local model is what's becoming more popular because it is profitable still.
Oh, it's very profitable throughout the country. Those are the only papers that are being, recording profits. The big ones, the big city papers are going down the tubes.
So yeah, I mean, the fact that the Post is continuing to invest that kind of money tells me that yes, they do value us and what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say so.
And their original printing was in College Park, the biggie.
I think the Post's press was in College Park. Ours was located in Gaithersburg, where the company started the Gazette. Yeah, it's Comprint. They actually, when we moved, had our press start, they tore that building basically apart and redid it, and it's now the offices for the Montgomery County Gazette papers.
Okay.
So.
Well, great. So it sounds good about the future. And of course, I was a little surprised when John was still with the local paper at the time. I was a little surprised competition came in, because they were doing pretty good. Since he's a friend of mine, they were doing real well. And we thought, quite frankly, it was the papers read everywhere. And people look forward to it. And the move from Thursday to Friday in delivery, I heard more complaints about that, and I'm not even in the business, from neighbors that say, look, I didn't get my paper this Thursday. And that went on for a long time, John, as you know.
I know.
And of course, you guys filled the void on Thursday.
Well, we used to have kids deliver our papers at one time, but that's long gone.
Yeah.
And of course, there's organizations now that do that, and I think it's good that they do, and or give an opportunity for a lot of those people to have jobs. And
well, Ken, the inevitable question out of all this is, you see a rosy future for community newspapers?
I do. I mean, I think, like I said, there's that void that you can't get this from everywhere else. And, if you're focusing on local and you don't lose that focus, there's still going to be a demand for that, because it's just not something that anybody else is currently meeting, although that's changing. But, more
Are you afraid of us?
Am I afraid of It is very easy for us to get caught up in a media war, and I'm a competitive guy, so I wouldn't, I love that. But, if I do that, I'm going to lose focus of what our mission is.
Oh, sure.
And our mission is not to beat the Bowie patch and have the first story up, or to do the same when the Blade News eventually gets their website up and running, or anybody else. We have to provide the best, most comprehensive, and most objective coverage of Bowie.
Sure.
And that's going to be our focus. So,
well, I'll tell you, you are doing that right now.
Well, thank you. We work really hard to make sure that we're doing that, and we're trying very hard. And we don't want to get so caught up in this little war with whoever else comes along.
Well, we're not at war with you. We're just having fun.
Okay. Well, it's still, it is competition.
It is.
And AOL is a big company with a whole lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's not something that we're going to take lightly, but, we just figure if we do our mission, we'll be okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's the point. You are covering city council meetings.
Yes, we do.
I understand. Is your reporter on duty there most often?
Jenny's there every week.
That's good. No one else is there from any other media.
Now, our guys there.
There were a lot of people there last night. I think the previous one, Jenny was the only one there. So sometimes it was hit or miss. I think last night, because you had the police chief there and because you had the incident going on in West Bowie, there was a lot more people there. But usually Jenny's definitely there. As far as the rest, it's hit or miss, I think.
Yeah, well, that's one of the concerns people have asked me about, because they considered local paper before you guys moved into Bowie Blade News always was there. And that's one thing they missed, people that have talked to me about it, after you left particularly.
Yeah.
And things changed then, of course. But we got John on the Bowie News and Views now on television.
What more could you ask for?
That's right. And there's one thing that it really tickles me with him. People know him. I know a lot of, like John said, I know a lot of people. They say, hey, Bert, who's that guy on the program you now? That was at first. Now they say, hey, I see your dad's on the John Rouse program. So, and I cry all the way to the bank.
You have to take Bert with, shall I say, a large grain of salt.
Yeah.
But at least you relax on our program, Ken. Don't get too uptight. John, settle down. I don't take, what's this stuff people take when they get nervous?
Valium?
Valium. I don't take Valium. Now I have John helping me.
Okay.
We've been doing this for a while.
I know, a couple of years now, I believe.
And before that, Bert had the record, the Bowie Business Journal, which preceded this. He did it for 25 years.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But you know, during those times, we filled a void that we felt like that we can fill now, and that's to get people on to tell about what they're doing and how it impacts the community. And at the time, there was always new businesses coming along, Ken. I'll not forget a woman that joined the chamber, for instance, and she would shop for people for their meals and then go to their homes and cook them, whether they had guests coming or if it was just for the family. And she was doing a lucrative business, and I wanted people to hear about it.
Right.
And she was a graduate from a university, I think, in Maryland. And this was just what she chose to do. Mm. And the Bowie Blade probably had written stories about these sort of things, but we never had anybody acting on the program about a new business. So over the years, it was fun to get that introduction. And it could be a company coming to town, like we had a company that came into the area that we haven't even interviewed on the Bowie Business Journal yet that has 500 employees in Bowie. Not a lot of people know that. They see the big building, but most big buildings, they only have a floor. This company has all 5 floors, and there's 500 employees.
Speaking of businesses, what do you see as the future of Prince George's County, other than big box stores?
Well, I've gone through a ridiculous number of candidate endorsement interviews, and I've heard from a number of them. I mean, the number one concern for everybody is to get a developer around the metro stations, and that they need to bring in more businesses and less houses.
They should have done that years ago.
So that's what everybody says, but you know, they've been saying that for years. So
precisely,
if there's any follow through, we don't know yet. But I think, you know, the new Carrollton is probably the #1 target right now. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they end up putting the state housing department.
I find it amusing that during election campaigns, these guys will promise you the earth, and then get in office and produce nothing. Yeah, it was I mean, it's very instructional for somebody to go through all that and talk to all these people. Yeah. And I learned a lot about the county and how it operates. Oh, yeah. But yeah, it's a very tough process to go through because we have more than 200 candidates, and I think we ended up with more than 160 came in.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's great.
So it's tough because you've got to do all that and do your day job, which is...
Well, you're doing something there that we've been looking for any paper to do, local candidate. Absolutely. And they are... You started on that election nice and early, which is, well, I'm all in favor of that. Yeah. Not the week before they run a voter's guide. No, you're supposed to do it all through. Well, we were very fortunate, and I think what we did was provide a reader service because last month our website got 1.8 million visits or page views. No kidding. And most of that is probably attributed to our voter's guide and people checking out candidates, which is surprising considering like 12 people voted. Yeah. But we had 300,000 unique visitors in the month, and those were both records for our site. Wow, that's impressive. So I think all that work, even though it was not exactly fun to do and tested our nerves, was actually worth it, and it paid off because we do have a very good voter's guide, and we're continuing to update it before the general election because we still have school board races and a couple of races in Bowie that we're watching.